WBEV studios, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you so much, Jake, and welcome everybody to Community Comment. Our guest today is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. So much happening at the county government level that affects us all. Very interesting, too. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can also make things interesting at calling or texting 920-887-9595. You can also call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. Cameron, good morning and welcome to Community Comment.
Terry, good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Housing is such an important issue for communities all over the country. Dodge County is no exception. Dodge County is doing some things to try to make sure that people who want to work here have an affordable place to live.
Absolutely. In fact, as many may know already, if you've looked around for a home, Dodge County is fairly limited in inventory, or has been in inventory, like much of the country. But we're looking for ways to increase the amount of homes available, as well as make sure they are as affordable as possible, especially given the inflation in the last few years for housing. So we actually have been working with and through our municipalities in Dodge County, a number of them, Horicon, Fox Lake, Beaver Dam, Watertown, and others, to infuse some dollars into the development of infrastructure that would support new housing development.
Certainly, that sounds to me like the grants that are made available, the monies raised through room taxes and sales taxes, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, and then distributed for communities for exactly the kinds of projects that you just described. Absolutely,
yes. It is sales tax specifically that Dodge County collects or receives from the state, I should say. And it's those dollars that we're using to provide grants to various communities in the county. We want to make sure we're spurring along and encouraging community development, both housing and commercial development. But the way that we do it is not loans or grants directly through businesses. It's grants to communities. And so I'm happy to say that our first round of grant awards, the projection was about 179 housing units or individual homes in the county. And we are well on our way to achieving that. So it's been very exciting. Communities like Fox Lake and Horicon have already started building, in fact, have some homes built, and are looking to prepare for a second round of grant funding, or at least applying for it. Then the city of Watertown and cities of Waupun as well, and Beaver Dam are in earlier stages, but are following the same route, and I expect things will go pretty well. It's exciting to see.
It's got to be especially exciting, especially in the smaller communities that probably would not have the resources otherwise to make these kinds of investments. But with the help of the county, a person, could have a nice place to live in Fox Lake, even if they're commuting to Waupun, Beaver Dam, even Watertown.
Absolutely it is, and that's probably the most satisfying part, at least from my vantage point, and that of our community development folks with the county is a lot of these dollars are going into places for projects that otherwise might not come to pass. Now, the grant that we provide is a last dollar in, meaning communities have to work together in the local government with local businesses, local residents, other organizations, to put together a package of dollars to be able to move forward with a project. And then Dodge County comes in as the kind of the last one to put some dollars toward whatever that project is in terms of development and get it off the fence and moving forward. And I'm very impressed with the leadership in each of the communities mentioned. I should say Iron Ridge as well. They're on that list. Very impressed with leadership in the community, both from their local government officials and community members. The work that they've done to put together these packages of dollars to be able to fund these projects is very impressive. And I got to hand it specifically and especially to Fox Lake. They seem to be the fastest moving on taking advantage of this program, and it's just exciting to see.
And I think it goes to show, like you say, the leadership in these communities. There's a recognition that no one municipality exists in a bubble. What's good for one is good for another. So if someone has a house in Iron Ridge and a job in Beaver Dam, everybody wins if this money is being divided throughout the county.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll tell you, having served as city manager for over a decade before coming to Dodge County as the administrator, I was always focused on the specific community where I was working and the needs of that community. But in this role now, I see more and more the truth to what you just shared. A rising tide, it raises all the ships. And so what is good for one of the communities ultimately ends up being a benefit for the rest as well. And it's really, that is so much more visible at a county level.
Our guest today is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper on Community Comment. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. You're listening to 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And back with more community comment on 95.3 WBEV. Here's Terry Bell.
Thank you so much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody. Our guest today is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. All kinds of things happening at the county government level that affect us all over Dodge County. If you have something to say about that or ask about it, you can be a part of the conversation by calling or texting 920-887-9595. You can also call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. Every few years, the county needs to work on its comprehensive plan. That's required by law. It's a blueprint for growth in the future, and it's also a necessary step for getting many of the government funds that the community depends on so much. And Cameron, I was hoping you could get us up to date on what is happening with Dodge County's comprehensive plan.
Absolutely, certainly, happy to do that. And yes, it is every few years. It's actually a
10 or
set number
20?
of years, between 5 and 10, depending on what you're looking to update, but there are requirements at the state level for updating plans. And we just went through that process. So I need to give a shout out and kudos to the members of the community, greater community of Dodge County, business owners and residents and other elected officials in various towns throughout the county that participated in helping to bring the plan to fruition. It's actually a very big concerted effort from a number of fronts. And then within the county, our Land Resources and Parks Department was heavily involved, and they were really the department working with our third-party Cedar Corp Corporation to put this together. And it's great. I mean, the good news is there's, for our land development folks, anybody who is in agriculture or someone owning land and looking to develop their land, nothing significant changed in terms of anticipated future land uses. So, which is a very good thing. But the plan itself, the process, as I mentioned, it involves a lot of different people in the process. There's a lot of public hearings and open discussion opportunities. But then ultimately the plan comes together, and it's actually a plan for now to and through 2045. So we'll see updates again, but it's very much to the name, comprehensive. So we're looking at housing, we're looking at economic development, transportation, overall the utilities for the county. Specifically, I think of electrical and natural gas, but all utilities and distribution systems, our sanitary and water. We also look at, as I mentioned, land use, and we look at just agriculture and natural spaces, and how do we maintain land for agriculture and protect it? How do we do the same for preservation areas? And it's a big undertaking. So this was finally approved in February of this year. The county board was able to meet together after a public hearing and approve the comprehensive plan. So it comes with, and I won't go through them today because we just don't have time, but it comes with a myriad of recommendations. And if you're in for some, I'll say verbal irony, light reading, there's the plan is available online on our website, and it's very informative. If you've never heard about Dodge County, or if you have questions about a specific aspect of Dodge County, chances are there's a section in this plan that covers it.
Yeah, I realize there's not enough time on a radio show to go over everything, but are there a few highlights that you think that people might be most interested in knowing?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a couple of those related to economic development I'll share is just we've been working with tourism, Department of Tourism for the state of Wisconsin. And so one goal is to continue that effort. We did receive through the good work of some of our employees in Land Resources and Parks for Dodge County, a grant called the GEM grant, which helps fund tourism-related activities. So a number of initiatives with tourism have been implemented and are underway, including most recently, probably one that is most visible to our residents is a website, Discover Dodge website. And there's a lot of good information there about places you can go and things you can enjoy in Dodge County. There's also additional materials and education opportunities that will come as a result of that grant, and sharing with members of our community what is already here to offer, and then also advertising outside of the county. Then another one that I think is really important talks about, excuse me, participation and cooperation in regional partnerships when it comes to economic development. So we are, one of the recommendations specifically talks about making sure we continue to engage with the Madison Region Economic Development Partnership. Now that has changed. That organization has dissolved. So we're really at this point looking at, how can we be involved at a regional level? So just as we were talking about communities within Dodge County and how benefits for Dodge County benefit every town, city, or village in one way or another, the same is true on a regional level. So one goal is to, as I mentioned, enhance those relationships. So right now, working with representatives from partner organizations, leadership in Jefferson County, but I've also had meetings previously with Fond du Lac County. We rely on communications with Washington County, but looking for ways to move forward in the future on partnering together either to reduce costs or to increase the amount of output in terms of services and resources available for residents.
I have to imagine one of the challenges of forming a comprehensive plan is knowing what's going to happen 5, 10 years from now, and being ready for that. Explain to me how some of the unknown variables of the future figure into formulating a comprehensive plan.
Oh my goodness! And I'll do what I can in explaining that. We've got a number of people probably listen to this later and laugh at me for what I don't know. But I will tell you, there is a lot of effort put into projections, and a lot of it is based on, we look at trends with population growth, trends with land use, trends with business growth and development, the status of the infrastructure throughout the county, both ours, but also the infrastructure for the state or for our communities, especially, and I guess I should say primarily focusing on the towns. And then we just kind of, it's a matter of putting all that information together and seeing what relationships exist, what connections come out of it. I will tell you that the population plans, the anticipated change with not only population as a total number of people, but also age groups and circumstances. It's projecting those things out, and then really at that point it is an educated guess and a list of things we're going to do, hoping that they match where we're gonna end up.
Not a lot of time left in this segment, but I'm just curious to know what sector is going to drive Dodge County's viability in the future. Is it going to be light industry? Is it going to be agriculture? Is it going to be tourism?
Yeah, no, very good question. So I think we have a very sound and impressive infrastructure when it comes to the industrial manufacturing. So light industrial, probably maybe even a little bit of heavy. But then also, it's important to note our agriculture and our dairy farming. We have been a standout county for decades in that regard as well. So that's still, I think, the future for Dodge County, and our plan kind of speaks to that also. Those are the focus areas. Then, Horicon Marsh being here, we really are going to see, we hope to continue to see the type of inflow of people coming to our county and enjoying the Horicon Marsh. So there will be some tourism and improvements as well. But I think the focus really for the future is the light industrial, and then trying to grow our community through housing as well.
Our guest on this edition of Community Comment is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. We need to take a break for the news, but we will be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
WBEV studios, here is Terry Bell with more of today's community comment.
Thank you so much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody, to Community Comment. Our guest today is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. A lot of things happening at the county government level that affect us all over. If you would like to have a comment or a question for Cameron, we invite you to be a part of the program. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595. Or you can call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. A big topic of discussion in recent times has been the county government's buildings, particularly the Henry Dodge building, whether or not that's worth salvaging or not. I think the verdict has come in and it's a tear down. But there are some other buildings around the county that the government runs that serve us all. And they're perhaps in need of some sprucing up. So, Cameron, please get us up to date on what's happening with the county government's facilities master plan.
It's an ongoing project right now, just to finalize the plan. All of the background work needed. We've had a number of visits from our contracted architect and their subcontracted groups that they're working with to do analysis of our spaces and our operations to bring together, what is it that we really truly need. And for the most part, they've put that report together. It'll be prepared, finalized, and presented to the Dodge County Board in, I believe, May, but possibly June, I suppose. Anyway, as you mentioned, the Henry Dodge building it's been around a long time. It's a very soundly built building, but for all of the piping and equipment related to HVAC and other plumbing aspects in the building. So it's actually reached an age where the pipes and everything associated with HVAC is rotting out inside the walls. And the cost to replace that as it happens or to go in and do an overhaul is far greater than just the idea of raising it. So the question now is, what do we do with all the people that are in it? To make sure they're able to keep going with their jobs. At this point in time, as I mentioned, the plan is nearly completed. There are 5 different options that exist for moving forward. The first 2 are not really, they're non-starters, I guess I would say at this point. So that leaves us with option 3, 4, and 5. And option 3 is, roughly to take advantage of an existing building in Juneau that was previously occupied by Dodge County departments, but then was sold off to a private developer. Not much has been done, at least from the outside looking in, not much has been done with that building since that time. And the idea of buying back that building and then moving some of our offices into it, so that we can make space for those employees at Henry Dodge to come to the administration building and work out of this building moving forward, and then eventually raising the Henry Dodge building. That's option 3. 4 is very similar, but instead of going to the old building and renovating that, it would be constructing a space for our medical examiner and all of our administrative offices, probably a smaller space than we would need for Henry Dodge employees and functions, and moving all those functions again into the admin building. And the last option is to build a completely new building for all of those administrative departments and for the functions of the Henry Dodge building.
How old are some of those buildings? Judging from the Art Deco look of it, we're probably going back to the middle of the last century.
We are. So I believe the current building that you see in downtown Juneau as you're driving down the main road is our administration building. The oldest part of this building was built in 1937, I believe. And that at that time was a new addition to the even older courthouse building that had been here. So that much older piece was eventually removed, and then in the 1960s, an addition was added to the 1937 structure. So we've been here a long time, and this building has gone through a couple renovations, I would say, but not since 1930s, 1940s, and 1960s.
Another issue I understand with the old county buildings as they are is even those buildings where the bones are still solid, departments have kind of grown piecemeal over time, and now what you have as a situation is where you might have, many people in different functions of the same departments, very inconveniently separated from one another.
It is a problem, and that is very true. So we have, in fact, option three that I mentioned quickly before doesn't necessarily solve that problem, but it is a challenge. So the building that we have for administration, as well as the Henry Dodge building, the Henry Dodge building was a long-term care facility previously. So it's designed much more like a nursing home facility than anything else. And that makes it already challenging to utilize, although Dodge County, I think, and the staff out at the Henry Dodge building that are associated with human services and public health, those folks have done a great job utilizing the space. But in reality, it's a far larger space than we need, and so there's costs associated with that. The other part is, as you mentioned, the piecemealing and I was talking about the administration building, the piecemealing in the administration building. So 1960s, as I mentioned before, is the most recent update. We didn't have a lot of the technology tools that we have today. And what's happened over time is we have a lot of our departments isolated in individual office suites, and it's a lot of space in between all those office suites that needs to be heated and cooled and cared for. It's space that could be better utilized. So if we really took out all the walls and structure we have in the admin building, we could probably do a lot more with the space, and then bring departments that and people that work closely to get their job done into similar spaces so they're near each other and can synergize and get work done, hopefully, a lot more effectively.
Our guest today on Community Comment is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. We're going to take one more break, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
95.3 WBEV, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV. Our guest today is Dodge County Administrator Cameron Clapper. If you have any questions or comments about what's happening at the county level that affects us all, we still have a few minutes to be a part of the program. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595. You can also call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. Well, I'm about to give away my age, but I went to high school in the early 1980s. And one thing that astonishes me in a good way all the time is how many opportunities there are now for people that young to prepare for their futures that just did not exist in my time. And you wanted to talk a bit today, Cameron, about Dodge County's youth internships.
I did. And, Terry, it wasn't the 1980s, it was the 90s for me, but the situation was similar. And the availability of opportunities now is much greater, thankfully. So, and in Dodge County, we're very pleased with the types of programs and resources that are available. So, I'll just to give you a little bit of background. We know that workforce is a challenge and an issue. We know that the population pyramid is inverted. Right? We're going to have more. We have more that are aging and elderly, and that will continue to be the case for a number of years than we have of our younger folks that will be aging into the workforce and into adulthood in the near future. So, wanting to make sure that we keep as much as we can of our people interested in their homes and in their areas, and if we can connect them to employment opportunities right here, so that we get to keep them. Moms and dads, I'm sure, be happy about that, but having them close by and having them contributing in the greater Dodge County community. So we have a number of programs. You mentioned internships. That's a great one. I could talk about maybe last, but we also have we're partnered with CESA 6, which is an education organization in throughout the state of Wisconsin. There are different CESA organizations that number, I think, to 8, but maybe more, maybe far more than that, throughout the state of Wisconsin. We're in CESA 6. We're working with them. They have a program that is really available throughout the state called Inspire, and that is an opportunity to utilize software that they provide, as well as visits with youth to help educate them and expose them to new opportunities. They can do apprenticeships. They can have day-long visits to a business they have interest in, and that's all part of that Inspire program, which has been fantastic. I have to say, as just the first mention here of different things we have going on, that Inspire program and bringing people into Dodge County facilities, but also I know manufacturing facilities, other businesses in Dodge County. It's really been a great experience, I think, for all involved.
What's Dodge County's role? I understand, the high school's involved, obviously, Moraine Park Technical College, a lot of manufacturers here in the area offer opportunities for young people to learn on the job. What role does Dodge County play?
So glad you asked. There are a couple different roles. One, we are advocating to get the Inspire program into all the school districts that touch or are in Dodge County, just so that program is available, because it's not necessarily available for everyone. The school district has to invest some dollars to make that happen. We're actually working on developing what's called a Classroom to Careers program that essentially will be a fund that will be contributed to by private, nonprofit organizations alike, as well as just other kind of good people wanting to donate to the cause, and that's to fund projects and opportunities that expose our youth to experiences throughout Dodge County. The other thing that we're doing is actually being one of the businesses ourselves. So through the Inspire program, we've invested in the program and access to all of the resources that it provides, and what that means is we can essentially create an ID or an account with the Inspire software, and then that software is provided to students in schools. They're encouraged to go look into the Inspire program and see what types of jobs are there, and then reach out, look at ones they're interested in, and through a counselor or helper in the school district, they can connect, and then we can bring them in, and they can shadow jobs or engage in a youth apprenticeship, or just come for a day and learn about the things that we do in Dodge County. So those are the two ways that we're utilizing the Inspire program at this point.
There's got to be a big incentive for the county to make young people aware of the opportunities that are here and not lose them to Milwaukee, Madison, the Fox Valley.
Absolutely, absolutely, and or out of state. You know, we want to make sure that our people are sticking around. And honestly, and this has been a discussion point, I think, at the state level for a number of years. You know, we have obviously wonderful access to institutions in Wisconsin for higher education, but people develop differently, their paths are different, and that is not necessarily the number one option or even an option at all for a lot of folks in our schools. So being able to provide them with the learning through a different means, through hands-on and exposure, is really valuable, and I think essential if we want to connect with these youth, whether they stay in Dodge County or not. But ultimately, the best benefit for us would be to have our people want to stay here, want to have families here, and continue to, as they go through life, invest in the community in a variety of ways, by being citizens, by participating in civic activities, all of that.
Here's something that might surprise people. Dodge County is in the wellness business, and you wanted to talk today about some of Dodge County's wellness initiatives.
I did. So I will just finish with the internship piece and tell you that internally we do have that internship that Dodge County has just for 2 or 3 students every year, bringing juniors in that will be between junior and senior year to come in and experience working with a variety of departments, which has also been a really rewarding experience. Last year was the first go-round, and this year we're in the process of reviewing applications and interviewing candidates for that, and it's been a very rewarding experience. So, but yes, so moving on to wellness, you know, in society today, and the older I get, the more I see that taking time to do what is most important in our lives doesn't necessarily happen. We get involved in the grind, or we think we have to keep up with the Joneses, and so we're not able to dedicate a lot of time to anything but work. We've discovered, as we've looked at different options or opportunities with our health insurance, and through just looking into and learning about different training opportunities for employees, that there's actually, and this probably is common sense for most of us, but there's actually a big reward in providing opportunities and ways for employees to be more balanced in their lives. So in Dodge County, the 2 things that we've done most recently are engage in a program called Better Health, BETR, Health, and engaging in a program called MyGrow, My, and then capital GROW, all one word. Those 2 programs, the Better Health focuses on cultivating gut health, and just overall, it's amazing how much that impacts wellness. And the other really focuses on emotional intelligence, and what are some things, some foundational elements that maybe we all should have skill or knowledge in, but we haven't necessarily learned those things in the busy world and busy lives that we lead.
I'm guessing this is in reaction to some of the feedback you've been getting to county employees that these were identified as areas that could use some attention for everyone's benefit?
Absolutely. So it started with, I think, first and foremost was health insurance, and looking at the health of our employees and knowing that we really wanted to step up opportunities to improve the health of our employees. We changed our insurance company, went to part of a consortium, I'll say, with the Wisconsin Counties Association, using Group Health Trust, and one of their subcontracts, I guess, or options that they provide for their participants is this Better Health program. And that has just been amazing. We're talking about people experiencing weight loss, experiencing increases in energy, even less joint pain, more physical energy, able to do things, more mobility, being able to get up and move around in ways that maybe they've not been able to for some time. So we've had I don't know the exact number, but we've had a number of people participating in that. It's upwards of 100 or more that have engaged, I think much more, that have engaged in the Better Health program. And then we have a pilot, that led to just thinking about more broadly, what are some things that will improve health as well as efficiency in our county, and building trust and building effective communication and tools to handle conflict or just handle challenging times were seen as things that were really important and things that maybe in general were issues in Dodge County. So we looked at this emotional intelligence program, MIGRO, and really what that program is taught about are things like just building self-awareness and the aspects. There's actually science behind what self-awareness is and the various aspects of it, what you know about yourself, what you know about other people, and then understanding, what are and why are certain things triggers for certain emotions, getting at perception of self as well, how we express ourselves, interpersonal relationships and decision-making, and then one big one, stress management, are all part of the MIGRO scenario. So we have right now the pilot with about 70 people, primarily our department directors and assistant directors throughout the county that are engaged in the MIGRO program, with some others as specifically selected, and then at least that many in the Better Health.
Stands to reason, county government would have to be a lot like a lot of other workplaces where the happier and healthier you are in general, the better job you'll do when you're in the office.
It's exactly right. And it's a little more difficult, or at least less understood or known, the different ways to measure, I think, that element alone. We can often look at our outputs with the widgets we're making or what have you, but it's more difficult to measure the value add of these softer skill elements and then the employee health. But I will tell you, it's making a difference. Already the connection between departments and open communication to make sure there's not duplication of effort, that's huge. I don't think it was a rampant issue before, but I've seen just firsthand ways that it's improved how effective we can be at doing our jobs. So it's not, well, I think sometimes we tend as people to look at government and think, oh, that's something I don't have, that's a perk and a waste of money. Well, this has actually been a huge benefit in terms of getting, I guess I'll say it, more mileage out of our time as employees of the county, but the county's getting a much more mileage out of the talents of individual employees because of what we've done here.
Cameron Clapper is Dodge County's county government administrator. Cameron, the hour flew right by. I want to thank you for joining us on Community Comment.
It was a pleasure, Terry. Thank you very much.
And thank you for listening to 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Big Pro